Greetings. We just recently bought a 24-inch flat screen TV to use in the kitchen, and I decided it'd probably be a good idea to go ahead and see if I could find some way of using it in the morning to check email and do a little web surfing, check the news, maybe watch a video. So that drew me to the board level computers, and specifically the LattePanda that you see in front of you. This one is the 464 unit, and it should be compatible with 64-bit software. It comes with pre-installed Windows 10. As to what's involved in the install, obviously here's the star of the show. Here's the power supply. This is the Hotkey PA T9 3-amp version. A 3-foot HDMI cable, a power cable, USB to micro USB, two 40mm 5-volt fans, one heat sink for the processor, 28 by 28 by 20. 11 smaller heat sinks, 8 by 8 by 12. Screws for mounting the fans, and some miscellaneous other screws, both for mounting the heat sink as well as mounting the LattePanda to my case holder. As to the mounting case, I decided to go the PVC route. It'd be nice to have access to a 3D printer, but I don't. This material can be purchased at Lowe's or Home Depot. In this case, it's molding, which is designed really to go for an outdoor application. You probably have this in your home in the wood variety. And this is a piece of 1.5" by 1/4" PVC, again, Lowe's or Home Depot. I've obviously cut all the fan holes. These holes for mounting the heatsink on the inside, and these holes for the on, off, and reset switches. Here's the other side of it. Again, all the holes cut in place to mount the fan. And together, they go like this. Obviously with the LattePanda in the middle, 2 fans on either side, and it's been drilled and tapped on the top to mount into an existing bracket the TV set mounts on, and we'll take a look at that one later. This bracket goes into the heatsink and holds the heatsink against the processor. This hole is designed and cut so that the heatsink will just fit through, and the way I've designed it is it's held slightly encased in the lower portion of the bracket so it can't go left or right. The up or down is taken care of by the bracket in this case. And I'll go ahead and mount that and let you take a look and see what that looks like. The bracket itself is made out of a small paper clip. These on the shoulder screws I had in my junk box, as well as the little washers and the small springs. I drilled all the holes, got all that lined up before I glued this together. Again, this is just glued together with standard PVC cement. Since these are the same material, of course, for PVC pipe fittings, the same glue works very well with them. The main thing you need to get this is a right angle fixture, and there's a picture of it following shortly. But other than that, everything you see fabricated here was fabricated with a Dremel tool and a Dremel tool drill press.
Okay, now's as good a time as any to take a look at some tools. This is that 90-degree holding fixture I used to glue the PVC. And here's the miter box I used to cut the PVC to get all the corners nice and square. Here's the plastic bonding adhesive I used. This works well on most plastics. Here's my Dremel drill press for drilling all the holes. Works well on plastic. It might work on aluminum. It's totally useless on steel. All fabrication tools and materials were obtained from either Lowe's or Home Depot. They should be available at any hardware store as well.
Here's a thermal grease I'm going to use to mount the heatsink to the processor bracket. Here's the heatsink hold down bracket properly put in place. Springs are probably overkill. You probably could do without them and just have just the bracket, but I decided I'd go ahead and put them in there anyway. Here's the components of my power button. The cap and the small plastic piece came out of a old ballpoint pen, the little spring I had in my junk box, which works real well. That way, when I push in the cap, I don't hard mash the button on the LattePanda and run the risk of breaking it. This gives me a little bit of cushion with this little spring here. I may make one for the reset later, but right now I decided I'll just go ahead and make the power button operational and wait a while on the reset button. Here's the LattePanda with all the small heat sinks added. As you can see, hopefully this will help keep things cool. I'll add 2 fans, of course, both of them blowing directly in on the heat sinks. The big heat sink is not here. That will be mounted after I put the heat transfer compound on it. These 3 are permanently installed. Here's a shot of the heatsink mounted on the LattePanda, as well as all the smaller heat sinks in place. Here's what it looks like to the fan, blowing straight down on it. Side view. And the other side. And of course the opposite panel. Hopefully with the 2 fans, this thing will run nice and cool. I'll be finding out shortly. And here's the LattePanda mounted on the end of the bracket. I decided I'll leave both ends open. And here's the power switch. The 2 fans on either side. And the wireless antenna. Trust me, don't forget about the wireless antenna. It's real difficult to plug in unless you got the bare board. So I had to take it all back apart to plug the wireless antenna in. Only thing I wish they'd have done different was put the power connection on the other side and the HDMI on this side. But can't have everything you want in the board design. I'll definitely make it work the way it is. Time to remount this main board to the TV.
This is the TV and the mounting bracket prior to the LattePanda being mounted on it. The bracket is homemade as far as the PVC part. The arm is part of a monitor arm assembly. The TV itself is a Samsung 24-inch designed to have 1 foot on either end of the TV. Here's a close-in shot of the LattePanda mounted on the end of the TV bracket, and an even closer-in view of the LattePanda mounted. Okay, so how well did all this custom bracketry work for keeping the LattePanda cool? This is a screenshot from Specky, and it's just a partial screen obviously, but you'll note that all the temperatures are in the higher 20s. This is at a rest state. Okay, I've loaded McAfee antivirus on it, and it's running in the background, and I'm also streaming a high-definition video off of YouTube, and here's what those temperatures look like. Right now I'm in February, and my house temperature is around 65 degrees, but even in the summer I wouldn't expect them to climb much more than 10 degrees than they are now. For a keyboard and mouse, I'm using a Logitech K400R. It's wireless, and it works great. Never had any problems at all with it. Hope you found this useful and helped you out. Take care. Have a great day.